What's up, guys? It's Keysway Colton, your local Kentucky skater, and I'm here to give you guys my most thorough way to ollie. This ranges from if you're a pro, if you're just beginning, if you have no idea what a skateboard is and you're trying to get into it. So let's get started. Before I even start getting into the steps of ollieing, the first thing that I do personally, I just ride around on my board a lot and do some stretches. Because if I try and ollie right off the bat, it's not really going to work really well because I haven't gotten warmed up. Step number 3 is going to be based around your front foot. Step number 2, whatever. But you want to kind of get it behind the bolts. Some people prefer further back or more in front. But if you're a beginner, I suggest it right behind the bolts. You can have it on the board. I like to keep my toes just tucked in right behind here. When I first skated, I had my foot all the way up here and it marked all this on my other shoe, but now I feel more comfortable moving it back here and I mark this part. It's all based on preference, but this is what I personally use. The next step I like to focus on is your back foot. For me, I keep it nice and tucked in the pocket. I don't have it too much forward, too much back. It just throws off my balance. I like to keep it right in the pocket. And a big mistake that I used to make is I would keep my heel flat on the ground. But an important thing is you want to kind of keep your toes just like toe touching on your board. So like that. Just like yeah. This helps because if you pop down and your heel's touching the ground, it's very difficult to get a good ollie out of it. So if you just kind of, have your toes on it, it helps with pop. Before I actually start getting into the motion of the ollie, don't be afraid to use the grass or any crack to stick your wheels in. I did it when I first skated. I actually used carpet. It helped me a lot with being able to be stable. So the next step is once you get your foot positioning, I kind of like to move around a little bit. If you don't feel comfortable just as you are with your foot positioning for an ollie, I suggest you ride around a bit more on your board, get more comfortable with it before you try. Alright, the next step is if you do feel comfortable doing this, I want you to just push on your tail. Try and keep your toe up. You've probably seen this in a lot of tutorials, but it helped me when I started ollieing. After you get this step done it a few times, practice using the side part of your shoe and just drag up till you feel comfortable with it. The next step is once you get comfortable with popping down and sliding up, if you can do it a little bit faster, that'll help you out a lot. So now that you got those 2 steps down, what I like to do is when I pop and slide, I like to jump. So pop, slide, jump. Pop, slide, jump. This will help getting your back foot off the ground. Now, if you have all of those down, you can kind of speed it up a little bit and you can get a small ollie just like that. But once you get it down really good, you can kind of do small ollies. And once you get good at that, you can pop really high ollies. Problems you will run into. The first problem, you will land too far on your nose. Another problem is you will just lift the front part of your board up, but that backside won't come up. The first problem is when you ollie and you just do that, you'll just rocket. That's what we call rockets, when your board just goes straight up. So what you need to do is lift your back foot up, but make sure those toes are still pointed in the board. So when you ollie, instead of doing this, it'll look like that. So you will even it out once you lift your back foot up. Another problem is when you ollie, you may land on your nose and it may just fling you forward. The way I solve this is I just kind of lean back a little after I popped, to where the point is if all my weight's on the back, if I do get a little ollie and it's a little rocketed, I'm not landing on my nose, and this just kind of helped me get it down in the long run.